Greetings, arm wrestlers of the Milky Way galaxy. It is Matthew. Yeah, we're all upset about the same thing today. Okay, so East versus West 19 happened, and I was gonna make a couple other videos before that about different things, and it's all just kind of blended together into one super thing, and I'm just gonna make a video that covers several different subjects, so I hope you don't mind something that's a little bit more rambly. One of the things I was going to talk about is just the mindset of the Eastern athletes. I'm going to talk about the West as well, because both have problems, but the Eastern mindset, especially from the Eastern European guys, it seems so soft, but in a way that tries to be manly, tries to be tough, so it's really weird. It's like, yeah, there's a cultural difference where certain things aren't appropriate, like calling someone a pussy or calling them gay. And there's a lot of importance placed on good sportsmanship. Do not trash talk during a match. And, like, put your arms square in the center of the table and don't do any funny business like the King's move or, like, playing around in the setup. None of that. Just a good, manly, gentle, manly pull. All of this stuff is very important to, I wouldn't say all Eastern Europeans or the European guys, but many of them. And it's also important to some of the Western guys. Like, I feel Dave Chafee is kind of in that camp as well, but the problem with it is, if you break these rules that the Eastern guys have, it's like they puff up their chests like gorillas and just start threatening violence against you. I mean, don't take my word for this, because my memory might not be perfect, but I have a list of people who so far have threatened Devon with physical violence. Engin, Babkin, Levon, maybe, or maybe he just insinuated that someone could be hurt for calling someone a pussy. I'm not sure exactly what he said. Morozov, I think, expressed that he would like to hurt Devon. Dadikian expressed that he would like to beat the shit out of Devon or something like that. I'm less certain on those last three, as you can hear, so please don't tell me that I'm accusing them of something. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just, if you have the more detailed info, then you can bring that forward. But yeah, several guys have done this, and they think it's manly, but I think Gennady probably kind of went there too at some point, but it's not manly. It's primitive. It's monkey brain shit, and I just don't see how that can be justified as a cultural difference. I think that is something that needs to be weeded out of the gene pool sooner than later. And, it's more understandable when they react to things like Devon screaming during a match and getting super aggressive. Because if someone's, like, doing that directly at you during an arm wrestling match and tensions are high, it can be kind of hard to, like, keep yourself in check. Like, I get that a little more. But Devon isn't cheating in the setup. It really grinds my gears that these guys keep using the term cheating, because that isn't accurate. As far as I can tell, he's simply bending the rules. He's simply exploiting the rules. And there's a big difference between that and cheating. And that's where the language barrier comes in. These guys think, I don't know, maybe they actually think Devon's cheating, or maybe they're just using the wrong word. It's hard for me to tell. But he's not cheating. It reminds me of something that Brandon Allen said Brandon Allen said that Eric Spotto is super strong, but not really as into arm wrestling lately because he doesn't like the confrontation. He's too nice and he's too mellow. That kind of seems like what some of the Eastern Europeans are like. They just want to keep things cool, you know? But again, the problem is if you offend them in the right way, they heat up real quick. So it seems kind of hypocritical. You can't be talking about the importance of gentlemanly conduct and all these things and then go threatening someone with physical violence when they don't follow your rules, you know? It doesn't work like that. You have to be a good human being in all circumstances, not just the circumstances that are comfortable for you, and not just with people who are similar to you. You have to learn to get along with people who are different. So I'm very disappointed in a lot of these guys in the 27. I think a lot of them probably fall into this category that I'm outlining here, just kind of soft but pretending to be manly. It's not cool. And honestly, I would even go so far as to say that people who enter arm wrestling with this mindset aren't pure arm wrestlers, because you're not really letting the combat side of the sport fully manifest itself. You're not letting people explore the full limitations of the rules. You're not letting them do psychological warfare the way they should be able to. You're just putting all these constraints on a beautiful art form, on a beautiful sport. That is supposed to be a fight, a full spectrum battle between two men. But you're coming into it as fake men. So it just doesn't work. But I love the guys. And I hope that within the professional arm wrestling community, everyone is able to start having or continue having conversations about this and come to an understanding, because I'm probably not the one who's going to help them do that. I'm too upset about it, so I'm going to say things that are going to make the Eastern Europeans and those softer types even angrier. But it's my opinion. Yeah, speaking of diluting the sport of arm wrestling with non-pure arm wrestlers, I am more and more convinced by the day that Engin is in fact trying to sabotage the sport. He did zero promo for East versus West 19. We all saw that. Everyone's talking about it. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. They just go whole streams without even mentioning it, as if, oh, it just slipped their mind or something. And he's been eerily smug in his videos, and he probably thinks that he can just get away with that, and that nobody's gonna put all of this together and nail his ass to a cross. But they are. And what really got me was how after this hack of the East versus West website happened, he put up this video saying right off the bat, oh, I wanted to enjoy my retirement, but now let me explain, what really happened with the hack. Like, zero empathy, zero desire to actually show any support. It's just clear that something's off. Anyone with a brain and who is being intellectually honest can tell that Engin is just kind of sitting pretty right now. He's a little smug. He's talking about all this stuff like a bank robber, who just got away with $100,000, and he's just kind of sitting in his armchair going, yeah, I didn't do nothing, you know, like, it's just obvious he's not a good enough actor to hide it. And like, yeah, all these people in the comments, I don't know how people are still supporting Engin at this point. It must be just the tribe mentality. It must be just these soft people who want to stay comfortable, want to stay safe in their own little zone, and they don't really have the future of the sport in mind. Yeah, just the way Engin acted, like he was being inconvenienced to need to make a video like that. And like, Dexter's evidence is, like he said, it's pretty damning. So I'm very curious to see how that turns out. It bothers me that Engin continuously makes videos and goes on streams proclaiming how much people love him. And whenever someone disrespects him, be it Devon or Jake, aka Aussie Arm Wrestler, or somebody else, he makes sure to counter argue with some kind of clip or screenshot of them praising him, as if he just shot them down. Sorry, my brain's kind of leaving me. I biked 20 miles today, but it just reeks of narcissistic personality disorder. And maybe he has a little Machiavellianism too. Like, I can't be an armchair psychologist here. I'm not going to go there, but who does that? Who constantly needs to remind you that people love him? Oh, yes, it was all the Eastern athletes who did this and wanted to keep me, and they all love me, and like, playing that clip of Devon crying and thanking Engin for all he did for the sport, like, what a scumbag fucking move. Like, oh, let me remind you of how much you love me, Devon. Or Jake, like, showing the screenshots. Oh, Jake, you wanted to work with me. Don't lie and say you hated working with me. Both can be true. Like, I think it's fully true that Jake didn't want to work with you, Engin. But people still ask to do things they don't want to do. Because I think in Jake's case, it was probably for the greater good. He wanted to be involved in the sport of arm wrestling, and you happened to be the best way to do it. East versus West. It's the biggest promotion in the world, or at least it was. Let's hope it stays that way, despite your best efforts to fuck it all up, Engin. Yeah, I don't really want to support anything this man does ever again at this point. I'm willing to withhold judgment until the court proceedings fully resolve and we know the truth. But it just looks, all the pieces fit together. All the pieces fit together. The self-glorification, the censorship of comments on his videos and streams, the lack of promotion, the smugness. But it doesn't erase what he's done for the sport. So I'm not going to call Engin a piece of shit human being. I'm not going to say he's useless, like I've seen in some comments. Some people are just unreasonable. I think what you create for the world is, I might be unpopular for saying this, but just as important as how you treat people. Engin has created a lot for the sport of arm wrestling, even though he just seems like an awful person to work with. And without him, yeah, East versus West wouldn't be a thing. The collab between East versus West and Strongest Man on Earth wouldn't be a thing. But the problem is, sorry, I keep going negative, but the problem is now he's trying to destroy what he's created. It's like, that's probably the greatest sin you can commit. Destroying something beautiful that you created or that someone else created. And yeah, a lot of other people have been involved in East versus West. Engin is destroying their creation as much as his own. So, like Engin, on the slim chance you're listening to this, don't flatter yourself into thinking that you can take away as you have given. You're not God. You don't get to take that away from people. It's not yours to take. It was a co-created thing. Just because you were necessary in its creation does not mean you own it in any sense, legally or spiritually. It's co-owned in a spiritual sense by the entire arm wrestling community, so you don't have the right to do what you're doing if in fact you are doing it. It's like trying to eat your own kid. Destroying East versus West. Unforgivable, if it's true. And I don't understand why the 27, if in fact they want to follow Engin, are following Engin. Do they feel safe? I wouldn't feel safe. I wouldn't feel like my interests were looked out for. I would feel like, sure, I could enjoy a little bit of prosperity in my tiny corner of the world if I stayed in line and didn't say anything against Engin, didn't bite the hand that fed me. Yeah, I could be safe if I was obedient, polite, quiet. No way to live, no way to grow. Sport can't grow that way. Isolated, stunted. It has to keep growing. Brighter people than me have gone over this point, so I'm not going to dwell here too long, but now that East versus West has sort of permeated the minds of the audience, no one's going to care about these smaller leagues anymore. I mean, yeah, it's fun to watch a smaller league, but no one's ever going to treat any of these smaller leagues with as much seriousness as they do East versus West, because this is where the strongest fight. Plain and simple. You know it's the best guys. And that creates a sense of stakes. It generates massive interest, knowing that, yeah, these are the best people on the planet. There's no question of whether some guy from another continent could come over. No, he's already here. Everybody's here. And that's why we need people working together, and it's just such a shame that all of this shit happened. I think in a way, the best illustration of how important it is that we keep this sport unified is Rickard Bornman. He quit his job to go at this full time. 22-year-old young man. Are you going to crush this guy's dream to be a part of the biggest arm wrestling promotion ever? Worldwide. Potential for massive amounts of income. feed his whole family. Are you going to ruin that? Make him go back to some smaller league because East versus West dissolves? Because it can't sustain itself without these athletes? That's what you got to think about the 27. It's not just about you and your safety and having things your way. It's about everybody. All these arm wrestlers need this. And the fans, too. We need this. I don't think you guys know how much East versus West has inspired me. How much Devon, Hermes, Levon, Alex, Vitaly, Camille, Todd Hutchings, Michael Todd, David Samusha. I could just keep listing arm wrestlers. All these guys have inspired the shit out of me. And they're able to do that because they're fighting the best all the time. They're pushing their limits all the time. It's the best possible story all the time. And that's what inspires people, a good story. That's what you get when the best are going at it. You get a world-level story. And you're not going to get that in your little pocket. Little pocket league. But the Western mindset isn't perfect. And this is what I was going to get to. This is what I told you I was going to get to in the beginning. Yeah, Devin Larratt has had a rough year, maybe couple years. He's been getting more aggressive. And it becomes harder and harder to believe that it's all for show. He has admitted recently that he's been angrier. And over time, it loses its entertainment value. It becomes grating. It becomes gross. And I think he knows that. He knows he's gone too far. He's said so. And I think in East versus West 19, he did a good job of kind of balancing the aggressive warrior with the brotherly warrior. And I think Alex brings that out of him. And I think it's really good that those two are friends. I think Alex probably encourages Devon to be more of a warrior poet than like a Tusken Raider from Star Wars. That's what I can compare Devon to when he's in his really crazy states. He's like a Tusken Raider just going but in more of a hateful, disgusting way than a funny way. Yeah, I guess it's important to remember that arm wrestling, while it is a fight and while it is a battlefield, it's not a battlefield where lethal violence happens. And so the stakes are a little different. And yes, while you should do everything you can to win, you should also do everything you can to promote the sport while you are doing it, while you are arm wrestling. And you should do everything to, in some way or another, encourage your opponent to continue arm wrestling. Make them want to come back. Even if it's by digging your fangs into them and giving them wounds that they need to heal up and use as lessons. That's all valid stuff. But like there does come a point where you can be just so hateful and disgusting at the table that the other guy's like, yeah. So I think it goes two ways. The Eastern guys need to man up in a real way and Devon, it's kind of sad that I'm just saying Devon, but it really is kind of mostly Devon. And Devon could continue to practice subtlety and practice leadership. It can be hard to read the room, though, and kind of be loving toward your opponents and do all this kind of stuff that we expect Devon to be able to do when you have a certain type of mind. And I think Jody kind of made a good point during the rules meeting before East versus West 19, where Devon had just kind of had his say to the refs, telling them, oh, this rule is probably crazy, like I don't think it's gonna work, etc., etc. And he got a little bit animated as he was saying it, and it may have ruffled a couple feathers. I mean, nobody really lashed back at him, but you could tell there was a little tension in the room. And so Jody came up to the refs and she clarified to them, he's not trying to be a dick, he's just trying to clarify. And when she said that, it kind of illuminated something for me, and that is well, it reminds me of people on the spectrum. I can't say exactly which mental condition it would be, but there are certain people on the spectrum, whether it's, people with ADHD or autism or some mixture of the two, who they appear to have problems with authority. They tend to have these confrontations with authority figures. It's not necessarily because they disrespect authority or because they're trying to create conflict with people. And it's not just authority figures either. It's just, they always have these questions. They always have these challenges that they bring up. And it's not because they're trying to be a dick or trying to fight, but it's because they have a high value for optimized systems. And they have a high value for very, very clear communication. And so they really push for that stuff. They really ask the hard questions and they keep going. And I think that other people, maybe, who are more interested in just kind of keeping things going and flowing, and maybe you could say they value the status quo a little bit more than optimizing things, they might get a little tired of people like Devon. And Devon has said he has ADHD, so it's possible that there's just something about Devon that makes him pursue these things that may seem like unnecessary tangents to other people, but to him it's like, this is his passion. Making arm wrestling as good as it can possibly be. And maybe it's his type of mind that allows him to push that as far as he does. And maybe it's what allows him to do such intricate work in the setup during a match as well. What appears to others as cheating is actually just Devon being super, super smart and super, super, super thorough, working within the rules to achieve an outcome that to others appears as magic. And so, because they can't comprehend it, they think cheating. Just my 2 cents on that. I've already had to stop this video twice due to my phone getting full, and I've had to delete some videos of my cat to get to this point. So I'm just going to cut it off here and wish you guys a good night. Take care. And let's bring this community together in spite of the just awful stuff that's been going on. I truly believe that we can expose the truth, and this community can be stronger than ever. Super pumped that the Strongest Arm on Earth event was a major success. I'll make another video on that and what I thought of it. It was fantastic. Best produced event that arm wrestling has ever had by a mile, in my opinion. And lots of other stuff to talk about. But yeah, see ya.